If you've ever heard about DNA activation, then you may have wondered, how did we get deactivated? What's up with that? Well, that's exactly what I want to explain in this video. I am Brent Phillips from MIT, creator of the Awakening Dynamics energy healing system, and I'm here to explain a little more about DNA activation. You might have seen my series, Ignite Your Intuition, where we talked about how getting your DNA activated is one of the keys to being successful at developing intuition, for reading the future, for knowing what stocks to buy, knowing where to live, what job to take, etc. Right? This is big stuff. And we talked about there how getting activated is really important, because without full DNA activation, you'll be extremely limited in how far your intuition can take you. So I did not make this video part of that series because you don't need to know this, right? There's nothing here you need to know to be a great intuitive, to learn to read the future, to learn how to make great decisions. All that's in the Ignite Your Intuition series. What I wanted to backfill here was the theory of how we got activated and then deactivated later. And before we get into the details, I just want to say, as a scientist and an engineer, none of this is proven beyond a doubt. There is evidence, but this is a theory. I want to be really clear, we don't know for sure, but this theory that I got from my first teacher, Terry, checks all the boxes. So here's how it goes. That humans had been evolving on Earth for millions, tens of millions of years, along with all the other animals. And then we realized, by looking at history and the fossil records, that something changed. There was a quantum leap in human evolution that occurred about 250,000 years ago. And it's something that we do not have precedent for in nature. There's no other species that had this huge change almost overnight in terms of their DNA. That what happened with humans almost overnight would normally have taken something like 5 million years of evolution. So how did we get millions of years of evolution in a matter of almost no time at all? Well, here's what Terry told me. That what happened was there were aliens, non-Earth-based carbon life forms, right, similar to humans, that came here, and they wanted to get the gold, because for whatever reason, their planet, sometimes called the 12th planet or Nibiru, their atmosphere was degenerating, and they needed large quantities of gold to turn into dust to put into their atmosphere. Now, I don't understand any of the science behind that, right? I'm not even convinced there is such a place. But the story goes they came to Earth because they found that Earth had abundant deposits of gold. And so they needed someone to help them mine the gold. They had a huge labor shortage, right? So they had this clever idea. They said, hey, let's take a species native to this planet and advance its evolution enough so that it's smart enough to do these jobs, to develop language, to be able to understand basic tasks, to use tools. And so they went and did genetic engineering on the ancestors of humans and created us, created the modern human. However, there was one aspect of the DNA they didn't like, which was the activation, right? The 11 non-physical strands of DNA were activated. They gave us abilities such as healing and reading the future and all this cool metaphysical stuff, right? They didn't want us to have that because that made us a threat. So as part of this genetic engineering, on one hand, they did evolve our being by millions of years, almost overnight, which is cool, right? But they also deactivated the top 11 layers of the DNA to really, in a sense, neuter us so that we would no longer be a threat to them. And so I like this theory for a couple of reasons. One, it explains a really old question, something that I wondered about, especially as a child, which was, why are people so crazy about gold? Why is it that humans will murder and enslave each other to get a big pile of yellow metal, right? Because you can't eat gold, right? You can't have sex with it. It's really only good for making jewelry and maybe wiring for electronics and computers. But of course, they didn't have those things, right? So I've always wondered, why is this human obsession with gold? Why is it so important? Well, this answers the question. This is literally written into our DNA. We were genetically modified to become gold mining slaves. And part of that modification was to give us this drive to accumulate and pull as much gold out of the earth as we can. which of course we've been doing for the last 250,000 years, right? Awesome. Couple other things I love about it too, but before we go there, I just want to say if you're enjoying this video, make sure you click like, make sure you click subscribe. I really want you to learn this stuff. I would love for you to check out the whole Ignite Your Intuition series, and I'm also going to give you a chance to get your DNA activated by me totally for free. So check it out, subscribe, like, check out the link for the playlist in the description, check out the whole series on Ignite Your Intuition. I know you're going to love it. So back to the theory. What else do I like about this theory? Well, another thing I like about the theory is it kind of makes sense in terms of some odd archaeological evidence. There have been mine shafts thousands of feet deep that have been dated to approximately 200,000 BC. How the heck did that happen, right? We know that the monkeys and dolphins and whales, the really intelligent beings on Earth, don't build mine shafts, right? There's no way that chimpanzees or apes did this. So how in the world did we get mine shafts thousands of feet deep, dated hundreds of thousands of years ago? Well, this kind of answers the question, doesn't it? Awesome, it really does. And so again, I want to reiterate, I don't know for sure that this is true. And honestly, in my opinion, this is kind of brain candy. It's interesting, it's cool, it's fun. It helps us understand our context, where we came from, why we're here. But it's really not important. What really matters is you and your life right now, what you are experiencing. And I would love to help you expand your life. So if you're interested in higher consciousness, if you have any interest in learning the world's most advanced technology for energy healing, for intuitive readings, for manifesting, even the ascension of consciousness to enlightenment, you might want to check out my spiritual power quiz. Check out the URL, right? I'll help you identify your spiritual power. And even better, go through the spiritual power quiz. I will give you a free ticket to my live Healathon webinar, where I can actually do some interactive processes with you here to raise your consciousness. So I know you love this video. Check out the Ignite Your Intuition series. Link is down in the description. And I'd love for you to check out the spiritual power quiz and join me at the live Healathon webinar. And until I see you again, maybe on YouTube, maybe in the webinar, I hope you find this useful. Take care and namaste.